Welcome, in this deep hour of the night. To everyone who is with us, I invite you to a new episode of Bhoot FM. Today's story was sent to us by our listener, Rahat. His experience still forces him to fear the silence of the night. He knows this incident by the name of the 1984 quarter. Rahat was not in Delhi or Mumbai for his new job. He was in a deserted industrial area far from the city. He was given the company's staff quarter to live in. The house was single-story, built of old brick. But the most terrifying thing was its location. It was about a kilometer inside from the main road, with dense old mango orchards on both sides. At night, there was no sign of light except for the flickering glow of the lampposts. Stepping inside the quarter felt like you were cut off from the rest of the world. The first 2 weeks were normal, but Rahat slowly began to feel that someone was constantly watching him. Especially at night, he would be startled even by his own reflection in the window pane. And in the third week, the clock struck exactly 2:02 a.m., and that horrific sequence began. Rahat was working on his laptop. Suddenly, a sharp, metallic grinding sound came from outside. It was like a heavy, sharp object being dragged across stone. Tug-tug, grr-ksh, tug-tug. At first, Rahat thought it might be some construction material. But at 2 a.m., he listened carefully. The sound was coming from behind the quarter, slowly moving towards his window. Every tug was accelerating his heartbeat. The sound stopped right below his window. A frightening silence descended. Rahat felt that this silence was more dangerous than any scream. He didn't dare to move the curtain. He just felt that someone was standing still right outside the window. After about 15 minutes, the dragging sound started again and slowly faded away towards the distant orchard. This went on for 3 consecutive nights. Rahat told his supervisor about it. The supervisor laughed it off. "Oh, that's the old caretaker's doing. He walks around at night." But Rahat's relief didn't last long. During lunchtime at the canteen, he found out that same caretaker had died of a stroke in the same quarter last year. The most terrifying reason for his death was that he was paralyzed and couldn't walk. He used a broken stick to drag himself across the floor. Hearing this, the mystery of the dragging sound dawned on Rahat. So, what had been coming under his window for the past 3 nights was not a living person. That night, Rahat decided he would not sleep. Turning off all the lights, he sat facing the door with a flashlight in his hand. Exactly 2 a.m., the silence was so deep that he could hear his own breathing. Exactly 2:02 a.m., the familiar tug-tug sound started again. Now Rahat clearly understood. It was not just friction. It was the noise of a heavy body dragging itself. The sound stopped right below the window. Rahat, slowly holding his breath, moved the curtain aside. He saw a figure, huddled, almost stuck to the ground. In both its hands, it held that broken stick with which it was scraping the ground. Rahat's eyes went to the figure's feet. The feet were bent abnormally, as if useless. And at that very moment, the figure stirred. Very slowly, at an unnatural angle, it turned its head towards Rahat. Even in the dim light, Rahat could see it was not a human face. The skin was loose, the lips sunken. But the most terrifying thing were its eyes. There were no pupils, just two black, deep voids. Those two voids were staring directly into Rahat's soul. Rahat immediately shut the curtain. He had forgotten to breathe. He heard someone gently scraping the window pane with their fingernails. Kush. Rahat sat there with his eyes closed. He felt that if he made any sound now, that figure would break down the door and come inside. After 15 minutes, the dragging sound slowly moved back towards the orchard, and eventually silence returned. When the first light of dawn came through the window, Rahat slowly opened the door. The kitchen door was open. The rusted lock lay on the floor, and from the front of the door all the way to the middle of the kitchen, there was a long, black, slippery trail on the floor, as if something had been dragged away. And next to that trail, the faint impression of the broken stick. Rahat left the quarter at that very moment. He didn't stay there for a single second longer. He still believes that the afflicted soul of the paralyzed caretaker who used to drag himself with a stick came to find him that night.